It's time to recap the Wimbledon tournament so far for 2024 and preview the semi-finals. It's been a great tournament in my opinion. There's been a lot of injuries which have contributed to a few upsets and a couple different players making it deep. However, it's great to see some quality on display with the likes of Djokovic, Medvedev, Alcaraz still in the draw. Of course, Alex de Minaur withdrew last night from Wimbledon and he has a slight crack in the fibro cartilage of his hip, I believe. So hopefully Alex can recover soon. You can check out all these community posts on Sportic in the community tab where I have put up polls such as who will win out of Medvedev, Carlos Alcaraz. Here we go, Carlos Alcaraz making some new friends with Tada and Stefan Djokovic. A fun fact is that Stefan and Tada are actually, I believe, closer in age to Carlos than Carlos is closer in age to Novak. And another poll here, who will win Djokovic Musetti, Spain, England, that'd be a great match, and Argentina, Colombia. But moving on, I'll just briefly mention how Taylor Fritz is now 0-4 in Grand Slam quarterfinals, and today was perhaps the best chance he's had ever to reach that maiden semi-final at a Grand Slam, but not to be. Too one-dimensional, as Kyrgios said, he wasn't willing to approach the net enough, and Lorenzo Musetti's variety, his slice, tore up Taylor Fritz in the end, and Taylor Fritz wasn't willing to commit enough, and there you go, he's out. A big win against Zverev, albeit Zverev was potentially harmed by that knee injury. That being said, Taylor Fritz had a big chance, and he will be regretting that loss for a long time ahead. The difference here is Lorenzo Musetti, after beating Taylor Fritz, is actually how, as compared to his Queen's Club quarterfinal win against Billy Harris, which is a bit of a underdog story if you can follow it. It was like a 29 or 30-year-old British tennis player just arriving on the scene for the first time. Musetti beat him and collapsed in celebration. Meanwhile, in the quarterfinal of Wimbledon, going into his maiden Wimbledon and Grand Slam semi-final, he was relaxed, composed, saying that the job is not done. What is there to be happy about? Musetti as well, sporting that knee tape, so perhaps he also has a bit of an injury. I was very impressed with Musetti's game. Perhaps the extra pace on the grass suits him better than clay courts. And once again, we would like to thank Socceratoz, who are sponsoring the video. As the UEFA Euro 2024 championships come to an end, it's your last chance to get your Euros kits. And I believe Spain will win. So in anticipation of them winning, let's go ahead and buy their home kit. Authentic jersey is cheap, only $34. You can get it customized as a large, customized with a name and number. Let's put Yamal, and I'm pretty sure he's number 19. You can add a patch, add it to the cart or buy now. And on top of free shipping, you can add the coupon code SPORT for 10% off. That will come out to 10% off and it will come pretty quickly, and that's always a bonus with Socceratoz. Reliable, fast delivered, authentic jerseys. So please make sure to check out Socceratoz. Thank you for Socceratoz for sponsoring the video. Moving on, it's time to really analyze these two semi-finals. A bit of a catch-up, of course. Haven't made a lot of Wimbledon videos so far this year, and it's really time to be digging in at the end of the tournament, talking about these matchups. Medvedev, Alcaraz, Musetti, Djokovic. And let's start off with Medvedev and Alcaraz. Medvedev is actually the only player to have beaten Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, and Jannik Sinner at the Grand Slam level. Of course, Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Sinner can't beat themselves, but it is something to prove that given this new big three of sorts, he is the best of the rest and has a big argument to say that he actually is in the caliber of those players. And if he plays like he did against Sinner, he has all the chances in the world against Alcaraz. However, he will need to play a bit more similar to the US Open event in Wimbledon last year because he got absolutely tore up, chopped up. And that's because Medvedev was just rallying down the middle too much, not being accurate on his serve, giving Alcaraz far too many looks at his first and second serves, just rally balls down the middle, not looking to hit deeper balls, penetrating, hitting it on the lines, just being very conservative. Against Sinner, he was going for his shots, he was trying to stay away from rally balls, but at the end of the match, he actually went back, reverted to it because Sinner was just making so many errors. If that is the case, that's always a good backup option. But to start off with, Medvedev should look to stand up on the baseline, dictate the play early, and make Alcaraz nervous because Alcaraz hasn't been playing his best tennis so far this tournament, but when he has been losing, he has been playing very good tennis. However, it's been inconsistent from Alcaraz, and he will be hoping to be peaking later on in this tournament, starting from the semi-final onwards. And who's my prediction? Well, it's an interesting one. These two players might be the two best players in the tournament at the moment. I'm not discounting Novak Djokovic, but we'll get onto him in a moment. Carlos Alcaraz, it's hard to pick against him in 5-set tennis. Only lost once in 5-set tennis when he's played 5 sets, and I'm going to pick him in 5 sets. I do believe Medvedev will keep that consistency going for the line, serving well, and playing well. However, it'll be really tough to back up a win against Jannik Sinner against Carlos Alcaraz, who in my opinion is another step up. So Carlos Alcaraz, I do believe he can grind it out, get massive shots, the big shot maker in the most important points. Medvedev has a tendency to become a bit tight. Those double faults are creeping into his game a little bit too much. Double-digit double faults in the last match. And Alcaraz, he can turn it up when it's most important. He'll turn it up and win it, in my opinion. As for Djokovic and Musetti, it's an interesting one because they recently played at Roland Garros, of course, and Djokovic was actually playing very smoothly at the start, hitting deep, flatter shots, trying to hit through Musetti, and it wasn't really working. He did win the first set. He was playing actually up a break, I believe, in the second set as well, but it was a very close match. And something needed to change for Djokovic. And eventually, after Musetti started playing amazingly, and at one stage looked to be the front runner, the clear favourite to win that match, Djokovic changed it up. Perhaps a bit of luck did go his way. A few errors were drawn on the forehand and ground strokes, of course, of Musetti. But Djokovic incorporated the slice, slowed it down a bit, took a leaf out of Musetti's book. And that's what Musetti was actually doing against Fritz. So for Djokovic to win this game, he of course needs to serve well. He needs to play well. But he is going to have to grind it out a bit. That knee has meant that he has been willing to play very aggressive. However, in this match, which not a lot of people will be saying, he needs to slow it down a bit. Of course, in the first set, try to rip it out, try to win the set. But once it gets a bit tricky, if it does get a bit tricky, he needs to slow it down, incorporate the slice, kick serves, trying to slow it down, get Musetti to grind, because Musetti has a tendency to want to pull the trigger. And that slice on slice, slicing back to Musetti's slice, will antagonize Musetti, as it's happened in pretty much every previous matchup, all bar Monte Carlo last year. Djokovic has wins against Musetti at Paris Masters 2022 and Dubai 2022 in terms of a faster surface, and we all know that Djokovic has won the last two matches against Musetti on clay courts. So a lot of history on Djokovic's side, albeit Musetti has won once. But Djokovic knows what he has to do to beat Musetti, and it's a matter of just doing it. If the knee holds up, which I think it will at this stage of the tournament, I do see Djokovic winning in either 3 or 4 sets. So the final, in my opinion, will be a rematch of last year. We won't get into what I believe will happen in that matchup today, but that's what is going to happen in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Medvedev was going to win. I did expect him to beat Sinner, which I can't say really now, but I didn't make a video about it. To others, I was saying he would beat Sinner, but I believe Alcaraz is a stretch too far. I would love to see it because it would be an interesting matchup, a different final, but in my opinion, it will be Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Let me know in the comments down below who you believe will win each of these matchups, and that's about it. Let's just enjoy next coming few days of sport, football and tennis, and we'll see what happens. Until next time.